Hello and welcome again to the CDO Magazine interview series. I'm Derek Strauss and I'm chatting here with Vivek Anand. Vivek and I have been talking about revolutionizing the business with data science and artificial intelligence. And, this is an area that's seen dramatic growth in the last decade. Everyone's, wanting to do something with AI or wanting to do something with data science. The question really is, where is data science and AI headed? Where are these technologies and techniques taking us, and what are its biggest barriers and challenges today? So, what are your thoughts on this, Vivek?
Yeah, very good question, actually. The first, let's just start with the optimistic part of it. Where it's going. It's going everywhere, really. You name a area that you think is not performing well, and I can tell you there are products that are in either in building or it's already there, right? So, for example, let's just take the common stuff. Like I have my dentist appointment on Friday. And I know a startup. Actually, I personally know the founders. They're working on taking dental x-rays and identifying cavities, things that a dentist would not be able to maybe there's a 10-15% chance the dentist misses the cavity. But the AI is able to completely look at that thing and come up with okay, here are the cavities that I need to do. That is not to say that AI will take over the dentist role, but it makes the dentist job easier. So I think a lot of fear that we see, or skepticism that we see, hey, AI is going to come and replace us. It's a distant dream. But my thinking is it's gonna be something of a middle ground. AI will focus, it will sharpen our focus. It will make sure that the redundant part of the job, the things that doesn't need expert skill, can be done by the AI. And then anything that needs a focused work can be done better by the human. You cannot, my personal feeling is it's going to be extremely hard to take the human out of the loop. You still need the dentist, but dentists know okay, here are the areas that I need to look carefully. Better optimizes dentist time, better optimizes my outcomes. Same with autonomous cars, right? It's like I was driving my Tesla earlier today. There is no way I'm going to trust it completely. It does a good job because I'm coming out of a traffic signal, it just goes in the other lane. It was dangerous, a human would not do it. But for the most part, Tesla does a very good job driving when there is foggy conditions. So the way I'm seeing it's going in the direction where things will be made much the redundant, the simple rules-based things will be kind of replaced by AI, but the more complex part of the same job will still need a human in the loop. So that is where I think it's going. And now from a challenges standpoint, I think it goes into ethical part of it. Again, ethical and explainable AI, right? So for example, you have seen concerns, you probably have read articles as well, hey, a certain demographic gets rejected more often than not, all things equal for mortgage applications. If you're running a AI which is taking input, which is not representative of the people on which you're deploying, right? So in that case, your AI will say hey, certain demographics, I have seen 100 applications, 80 have been rejected. That is not representative of that demographics population. Your data is skewed. So you need to be able to explain where that recommendation came from and go back and look in the biases that you have built in the model. So that is a challenge that is going to happen. Yeah. And again, there's another thing that I think is coming is edge computing, as we call it, right? So I know a company in Texas who's working on similar stuff. So basically, edge computing is using AI at the edge of application. A good application that the person who is product managing that was explaining is hey, you have a fire truck and there's a fireman going inside. If they have a Apple Vision Pro kind of tool where the AI is removing the smoke and is providing a clear picture, then they're not guessing where to go in the smoke. They can go. this is where AI is going. But AI is not going to justify. You still need the fireman.
Right.
Yep. The downside there is like if you are like AI is dispatching fire trucks, and it has not been trained on a certain demographic, certain data, certain geographical attributes associated with it, you'll perform suboptimally. So this is where I think we have to go there. The other thing, that challenge that I see is just quality data. Like, I mean, historically, there have been data in different silos. It's very hard and difficult for us to make them talk to each other. So that is a challenge. The other thing is really talent shortage. I mean, the data science techniques, tools that have existed or are there in place, they're evolving at a rapid pace. The transformers that I talked about, the ChatGPT stuff, that was first published in 2017. Less than 10 years, we have things that are transforming ourselves. So for someone to be able to up to speed on these cutting edge technologies that keep on evolving every day, for us to have talent that knows everything or like even very focused area is going to be a challenge. So the scale and adoption of AI also primarily depends on the talent that we have, talent pool that we have, which is why like I think there's a need for like talent improvement programs in some ways. So I know we are digressing, but I think AI's adoption is also dependent on talent.
Yeah, and I think that's actually a really good segue into I guess really my final question, which is, there is so much interest, generally speaking, in this area, and more people are starting to be attracted to trying to figure out how they can step into this world and get qualified and learn about the right way of doing things. So there are a lot of people that have just got the beginnings of a foundation of an understanding of what this is about and how it's developing. So there are a lot of what I would call newbies, in this industry, and so I'm sure a number of them are going to be listening to this interview. And from your perspective, what advice would you give data science and artificial intelligence newbies just getting into this as they start out on their journey to introduce data science and AI into their company?
Like the most important thing is just not have what we call like FOMO, fear of missing out, really. I mean, understand your business needs. And like, I mean, there has been enough evidence at this point that says like, hey, data analytics, data science is able to do a lot of routine tasks in a much better, much productive fashion, right? Now, what happens here is you need to understand the business needs. If you're starting new, you're probably not going to be building a transformer in like 1 year in. It's a journey. It's not like a destination. You just like keep on walking on the same thing, on the path, right? So for example, like I alluded to this in the past in the first segment, like think about like you're conducting business based on notions. The first initial starting step is just run exploratory data analysis. See like how much of your intuition is grounded in reality. You think business is conducted a certain way, you run the EDA, and very likely you'll find that some of your notions were like unfounded, if you will, right? And then the second thing is like understand the business need. There's sometimes like I'm not a proponent personally of just removing everyone with machines. Like there needs to be a human in the loop is my understanding, or this is how I think the ideal state should be. But understand the business need before you even kind of like embark on a DS and AI need. Like know what are you trying to solve for, right? An example is like returns. Like someone comes and says like, hey, I want to return something. There are certain cases where it's very easy for the machine to assess the situation and give an answer, right? If someone says like, hey, I have not gotten my package delivered, can you return me the money? The simplest thing that a human would do is go look at the tracking ID, go to the shipper's website and see like, okay, was the package delivered? If it was not, person is saying the right thing, just give him the money back, right? So that thing is doable on a machine, like very efficiently, faster at scale. But someone says like, hey, I got a defective product. In that case, you need a picture from the person. You'll see like, okay, see a manufacturing defect, something like that.
Mm-hmm.
This is where you need a human in the loop. So understand the business need. What are you trying to solve for? And then build a solution for it. Start small. And the other thing is just like science or data science is not be all and all, right? You need to be able to build science that integrates across systems. So you need a good collaborative approach where you kind of understand like, hey, the science I'm building, is it compatible with my IT infrastructure? If it is not compatible, then like the science need to adjust or the IT need to adjust. So which one is adjust? So this integration piece is like science is not in a silo. It needs to be integrated. And for that, it needs collaboration across different stakeholders. And the most important thing is, like I said, science is like data science is a journey. It's not like a destination. So always seek feedback from the users and iterate. Like, I mean, start small, you iterate, you have mastered it, then move on to the next step, iterate. It's 99% chance even like the most advanced AI companies don't get their objectives accomplished in the fast go. You have to iterate. That's just a process. So that's like 2 cents, if you will.
Yeah, no, that's good. And I think it really comes down to you got to sell it. That it's and anyone who's ever been involved in a sales cycle knows that you got to get used to rejection. The first time around it's probably not going to work, but you go back and you go back and you go back and you try and you pivot and you bring different aspects in. So yeah, I think that is really the key thing. If you're going to be successful in data science and artificial intelligence, in getting the adoption, very wise words from you as far as what to look for. So thank you for that, Vivek. This has been a great series of interviews here. I've really appreciated it, and I think it's given our viewers and our listeners some great insights into this world. So I wish you all the best on everything that you're going to continue to focus on in your journey. And certainly, as you started at the beginning of the segment, you were talking about your visit to the dentist. I hope that goes well also on Friday.
True. I mean, there is an old poem from Ogden Nash, I believe. There's like some pains are mental, and some pains are physical, and one that transcends both is dental.
Yes.
So
yeah, I agree with you 100%. I just had one on Monday this week, so hopefully yours is as pain-free as mine was. Anyway, thank you so much for your time and your insights, and to our viewers, thanks for joining us. Make sure that you do pick up all 3 segments. And please also visit cdomagazine.tech for additional interviews. And from me, I'm signing out. And thanks again, Vivek.
Yeah, thanks, Derek. It was great being here. Thank you.